Hey, Shalom. Welcome back. Today we are in our directed Hebrew immersion class for the book of Exodus, continuing working through chapter 29. We will be covering verse 22 and 23, maybe 24, depending on how time goes. I probably will break this up into two different classes, so it'll be about 15 minutes chunks for each as we continue to experiment with that format. Let me just say a prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, Todah Lecha Lechol Asher Yesh Lanu, Lechol Mishpechatenu Adonai. וגם לכל תלמידיי, כן יהי רצון כי רצונך יחיה עליהם, אדוני. תשלח נא את ברכך משמיים ממעל. וגם אנחנו יודעים כי מגננו אתה. לא לנו, אלוה אחר, ומשיח ומגן בלתך. מודיעים אנחנו לפניך כי אתה עומד איתנו. וגם את כל עמך. לכל הדברים האלה אנחנו נברכך בזכות ישוע HaMashiach. All right, so here we are. I've got it colorized like we've been doing lately. So this is both learning styles are on today. So if you're an auditory learner, you don't have to look at my screen, no problem. I'll be trying to read things in such a way that will help you as well. And if you are a visual learner, well, here, look at all the colors. There we go. We got visual for you. The legend is over here on the left. If it's gray, it's a name. If it's kind of a glowing green, it's a vav conversive. If it's bluish color, it's the person and the verb, like I, you, he. If it's red, then it's definiteness. If it's yellow, it's pronoun. If it's a hunter green, it's a conjunction. If it's a teal, or it's got this kind of blue, like highlight background, like this word here, then it's a construct state. And if it's orange, it's a preposition. All right. So that should, I think that covers most of it, all that we have here today. So let's go ahead and let's see. Let's read through it. Velakachto min ha'ayil hacheilev v'ha'aliyah ve'et hacheilev hamkhaseh et hakerev ve'et yoteret hakabeid ve'et shtei haklayot ve'et hacheilev asher aleihen rather ve'et shok hayamin ki el milu'im. Whoo! Okay, how about that? All right. Let's pick it apart one bit at a time. Velakachto. So the ta, that reminds us of ata, you, and lakach, lamed, kof, or kuf, chet is to take. Lakachto means took you, but ve lakachta means and will take you. Min, from, ha'ayil, from the ram. What are we taking from the ram? Hacheilev, the fat. And chaylev, this is specifically the kind of fat that's on the organs. Ve ha aliyah, and the aliyah. Aliyah. I know we have some of you are studying Deutsch. This is Fettschwanz. Auf Deutsch, das heißt Fettschwanz, all one word. So it's like the fatty tail or the sheep fatty tail. I remember reading in some commentaries a long time ago that there's a special sheep native to Israel in those times that had a really broad tail. I think Scotland has a sheep like that too. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're from Scotland, let me know, or somewhere else in the UK and you happen to know about it. So vilakachtra, and shall take you, min, from ha'ayil, from the ram, hacheilev, the organ fat. Veha, and the aliyah, the fatty tail. The et, and, we don't translate the DDO, hacheilev, the fat, again, the organ fat. Hamkhaseh, which, mechaseh, the verb is kasa, or kiseh, which is to completely cover. You'll notice it is a PL form. Let me mark the verbal root letters here. So we've got kaf and samech and hey. Kasa is to cover, right? Like a michseh, it's a tablecloth, right? It's something that covers the table. But kiseh, with a strengthened middle root letter, is to completely cover over. It's not really writing so well, sorry. There, better, good enough. So that's telling us it's completely covered over. So the fat, which is like enveloping the organs, ha michseh, michseh. Ha, which is like which, is mechaseh. Mechaseh. It's a noun that's formed from an active participle here. So kind of interesting. Okay, continuing. So it's completely covering ha mechaseh. Et, we don't translate. Hakerev. Kof resh beit. Again, sorry if that was kind of visually oriented. I will keep you auditory guys in mind, and we'll do some repetition stuff. Okay. Hakerev. Kerev. So the root of kerev is kof resh beit, and it's to approach, to draw near. Well, you can't get much nearer than the inside. Kerev is the innards, the kishki. So et ha kerev. So he's supposed to take et hacheilev, the fat, ha, which mechaseh completely covers or envelops, which is enveloping, et hakerev, the innards, the guts. Well, yeah. The eight, and I just realized I drew somehow on the screen here. When did that happen? Fixed? It's thinking about it. Oh yeah, we got that weird delay going on today. Well, I'll let it keep trying. It's moving around. If you're watching, you see it's moving. It still doesn't want to delete it. Oh, yay, it's gone. Great. The et and hacheilev. Oh, pardon me, I jumped a line. The et and, we don't translate the aleph and the tav. Yoteret. Now, this is in a construct form. Yoteret. The root is yatar. Yod, tav, resh, which is to be extra, to be left behind. Right. This is where one of Moses's fathers-in-laws got his name, Yithro. He was the yeter of, presumably of God. But yeter, in that case, yeter has a nuance, not just left over. It can be nuanced to mean the choicest part, like the best part. It's not what it means here, but that root can have that meaning. So he's like the best. His mommy named him the best, his best. Could be meaning the father's best or God's best. That's good old Jethro. So yoteret is like the extra, right? The prolonged part that's attached to this organ we're going to read about, right? Okay. The lobe. I think I usually translate this lobe. So lobe of ha kaved. Now, because yoteret is in the construct state, ha kaved, that ha is going to also impact yoteret as well. So the yoteret, the lobe of ha, the kaved. Kaved is an organ whose root, kaf, beit, dalet, means to be heavy, to be weighty. And that's true. It's the liver. It's the heaviest organ in the body. So that's what you can see why it's called the kaved. It's the heavy one. They weren't Our ancestors weren't too creative about how to name it. Just call it like it is. The heavy one. It's the heavy. Hand me the heavy, you're telling the surgeon. Okay. The et, and shtei haklayot. Shtei is construct chain from shtayim. So shtei, and there's a ha on the next word. So the two of the haklayot, kidneys. This is also metaphorically, this would be how you would say the heart in Hebrew. If we're talking about like the metaphor, like the meditations of the heart or the feelings you feel, it's in your kelayot, in your kidneys, in the Hebraic understanding. So the two of the kidneys, the et and hacheilev, the organ fat, asher, aleph shin resh, which aleihen is upon them, the eight and shok hayamin. Shok, it's sheen, vav, kof. This is like the thigh, the thigh. And I didn't mark it with the background blue construct, but I did mark it with the teal kind of construct we have right over here. Sorry if you're not looking. You can still hear shok, hayamin. So the shok of the yamin, that's the thigh of the right side, the thigh of the yamin. Yamin. He is a conjunction, not exactly the hunter green, but some people had complained they had trouble seeing that hunter green, so I made it a little bit lighter. Hopefully, you can still distinguish between this green, if you're looking, and the green that we have in front of verbs. Key, for, or when. Oops, I really hope I had the highlight on the right device. Key, for, ale, milu'im. So here we have a construct chain. This is from ayil. We had ayil at the beginning, velakachta min ha'ayil, and now it's ale. So ram of milu'im, mem lamed aleph yod mem, from mile, mem lamed aleph, which is to fill up, to fill up. So what does that mean? Ram of filling? Ram of fillings, actually plural, right? Ram of fillings, like he's got a bunch of cavities or something, or they're going to use him for people's cavities as fillings. What's happening here is kind of a level 2 removed idiom. There's an idiom that means to consecrate or like to ordain someone as a priest, and it literally is to milei et hayad, to fill up the hand. There's some scholars who talk about the priestly ordination that there might have actually been a sacred item that was handed to them. Because we have other items in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle, like a Mizbeach. If you touch a certain Mizbeach, the altar was so holy that anything that touched it would be rendered holy. Holy. And so there's this idea, this notion that maybe there was some lost object that was handed to the priest that was so sanctified that when it was handed to them, it made them holy, right? And that's why we end up with this kind of Hebrew idiom to fill the hands, milei et hayadayim, to fill the hand, rather, et hayadam, et hayarad, their hand, et hayad, is to make a priest, to not consecrate, to ordain. And so oftentimes in Hebrew, if you have a word and you put it in the plural, this can be one way of forming an abstract concept from that, right? So, for example, zaken is old or an old man, right? Related to the word for beard, but zekanim can mean old age. You see, like the concept, and it could be old men, but it can also be old age in general, right? Or naharot for from like youth, right? So there's other words that have this kind of idea where when you put it in the plural, sometimes we get an abstract idea from that. So here, milu'im, milu'im is being filled up. Well, we're talking about priestly duty, so this is like ordination. Okay, so ki el milu'im, who for a ram of ordination is he. That's how I would translate it. There might be some who disagree, but I think that's what's happening with the being filled up there. That's what's going on. Okay, one more time through. Sorry if this one's going a bit long. Vilakachta. Okay, you try to translate it. And shall take you min ha'ayil, from the ayil, from the ram. Hacheilev, the fat. Veha, and the alyah, the fatty tail. Ve'et, and hacheilev, the chaylev. Hamkhaseh, which mechaseh, which is completely covering or which is enveloping, et hakerev, the kerev, the part that is cut off, that is really close, the insides. Ve'et, and yoteret hakabeid, the lobe or the excess of the liver. Ve'et, and shtei haklayot, the two of the kidneys. Ve'et, and hacheilev, the fat, asher, which aleihen, is upon them. Ve'et, and shok hayamin, the right thigh, which, by the way, this Sforno makes sure to point out it's the front right thigh. That's in this commentary by Sforno, because presumably that kind of maps to the front right arm of the person, which was the hand that would be filled of the priest in the process of milu'im, of ordination. Ki, because el milu'im hu, a ram of ordination is he. All right, I'll read it one more time through. No translation, and then we're done. Velakachta min ha'ayil hacheilev v'ha'aliyah ve'et hacheilev hamkhaseh et hakerev ve'et yoteret hakabeid ve'et shtei haklayot ve'et hacheilev asher aleihen ve'et shok hayamin ki el milu'im hu. All right, appreciate you guys. Looking forward to Hanukkah tomorrow. Shalom, shalom. If you don't see me, if I don't see you guys, I hope you have a wonderful first night of Hanukkah on Kislev 25. That's this year, December 25th in the evening. Very interesting. Shalom, shalom.